Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on what part of the world you're in. We're a minute late, so I'm just going to wait for this hangout to catch up. Myself and Darren haven't had a chance to catch up on this Monday, so we haven't got any PowerPoint presentations for you. But what I would like you to do is, if you could let me know that you can hear and see me okay, because I've got a new microphone. I want to make sure that I'm broadcasting and everything is okay. I've just got, can you believe Google have sent me a message to say that I've gone live? Yep, so loud and clear, Jeremy. That's what I like to hear. So what I'm going to do, because we've got a lot of stuff to cover, I'm going to jump straight in, okay? Because what we want to be today is we want to talk to you a little bit about the founders, okay? And Darren's going to cover that in a moment. But what I really want to do is to talk to you about the actual binary, the betting bot, the binary options bot that we've got. And I want to I want to go into a bit more detail with that. So what I'm going to do, rather than me ramble, okay, I'm going to share my screen. But if you've got any questions as we go through this hangout, put them in capital letters. We need them in capital letters. If you've got any questions regarding this hangout today, then make sure you put it in the chat there in capital letters, and we'll find it. So I'm going to share my screen. Before I share my screen, actually, what I want to talk to you about, I'm going to go to my whiteboard, because I want to tell you that so that you understand when I start to share things, that you understand what it is I'm talking about. Now, I will share the screen actually before I go on the whiteboard. That's probably the easiest thing to do. So sharing my screen. So give me the thumbs up there, Darren, and make sure you can see the screen okay. That's, have you got me? Yeah, he's got me. So if you could let me know on the hangout as well that you've got my screen, that would be fantastic. And at the moment, we've got 54 people watching. We've got a thumbs down even before we broadcast. You know, somebody dislikes it before they know what the content is. You know, I would guess that is a highly intelligent person, and they're brilliant at reading the future. But what I want to do is I want to take you to this screen here, which is pocket options, okay? And as you could see, there's this red line that goes across the top here. There's a little thin, I don't know, pale blue that runs through the middle. And then there's this green line at the bottom. Now, they're called Bollinger Bands, okay? So I want you to remember that. So I'm going to draw on my board here. I'm just going to draw these Bollinger Bands. I know you can't see them at the moment, but when I come back to the board, you hopefully will see them. And I'm just going to put this one in the middle there, and I'm going to keep them on the screen. So that's how Bollinger Bands, okay? So what I want to do is I first want to stop sharing my screen, and I want to talk to you about the Bollinger Bands, and then I'm going to come back and talk to you about setting up your bots, okay? Now, one thing I want to say is if you set a bot up, inside your back office there, you should let the bot run its course. Don't stop a bot just because you see it losing money, because the bot needs to have its time, you know, because it's not going to win every trade, okay? But, you know, even when myself and Darren trade in real time, I know Darren's sort of been doing some trading live with you, and he seems to be winning all the time, even though he shouldn't be by where he's placing his bets. But you won't win all the time, and the same is with the bot. It's not a miracle worker. It can't predict the future, but what it does is it takes away the human emotion so that you can trade easy. The bot does the work for you, but obviously it's going to lose. Sometimes it's going to win. Hopefully, what we're looking for is it's going to win on a more constant place. Okay, so these are our Bollinger Bands. Okay, now, what we use these for is that when a candle, okay, pops out the bottom. So if I put a red candle, okay, so if I just draw this red candle, something like that. When this red candle drops out the bottom of the Bollinger Band, when you're doing it manually, what you should be doing is, and again, there's some other things, timers and all that, but you're basically looking to place an up bet to say that the price is going to go up with the next candle. And likewise, if you see a candle that pops out the top of the Bollinger Band, okay, you would place a down bet to say that the price of the next candle is going to finish below this one, okay? Now, this Bollinger Band, what I want to, because I'm going to talk to you about the strategies that the bot actually uses, okay? So what I do is I share my screen. That's probably the best thing. So sharing my screen again. So hopefully you see the screen. I'll just get rid of that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over. So here's our Bollinger Bands. Okay, as you can see, there's a candle popped out the bottom there, and then it rose up, this green one. So the red one popped out, this red one popped out, and so on. Okay, so now what I want to do is go over to the trading bot. This is the binary options bot. As you can see, I've got a bot there that's earning, I've got a profit of just over $1,200, 49.87. That one's in a minus. That one's in 679. Okay, but what I want to do is I want to come to the strategies. When you're setting up your bot, you've got 3 strategies at the moment. Okay, at the moment we've called them A, B, and C. Okay, now we're going to give them proper names, but what I want to do is I want to give you an idea of what A, B, and C mean. Okay, so now what I want to do is come back to pocket options here, and if you look on the screen here, you've got 2 timers. Now Darren only looks at this timer on the right. Okay, I look at the timer only on the left. So we do completely different. Nobody's wrong, nobody's right. Nobody says that one strategy is better than another. It's just that I do a different strategy to what Darren does. Okay, now we both get success and failure in both our strategies. But I want to draw your attention first to this clock on the left-hand side here. Okay, now what this does is you have 2 white lines. You see there's a very thin white line, and then there's a more. So let's make this a bit bigger, so hopefully you can see it a bit better. There you go. So hopefully that. So you've got this thin white line that goes from the top of the screen down to the bottom, and then you've got this more thicker one, and you have the words that it says time until purchase. So basically this first line, okay, once the timer on the left gets to 0, you can't place a bet on any of the candles. In that time zone, you'd have to restart the candle. You'd have to rstart the timer. So I look at this timer on the left, and what I look for when I'm trading is I look for this timer to get down to 5 seconds or less. Okay, so as you can see, it says 24 seconds, and we'll just let this go through the motion here. I'm not going to place a bet, but I just want to show you the timer going down. And Darren's timer that he works on is this one over on the right, and he waits for that timer to get to 4 or 5 seconds, which is the end of a candle. You see now mine says 5 seconds. So if I was to place a bet, okay, it would have basically it would have 30 seconds until my bet's finished. So maybe what I should do is zoom out, and I will do a bet just to show you. Okay, I'll wait for the timer again. You know, I wouldn't normally do this, but I just want to show you for an example, and then I want to talk to you about the strategies so you understand. Okay, so there's 2 timers. I'm looking at the one on the left at the moment. We've got 34 seconds. Okay, and so we'll let that get right down to the last 5 seconds, and then I'm going to place my order, and I'll show you what that means for me, for my strategy. And again, we're not doing live trading here. I've got to make this point so I can show you what the strategies do. So we're just now coming, 15 seconds, 13 seconds, 10, 9, and 6, 5. Right, I'm going to place an up bet, okay? For some reason, I've placed 2,000 like a donkey, but there you go. It doesn't matter. But you see, now the screen's gone black. So it means I've only got, if you look on the right-hand side, there's 23 seconds left until I know whether I've got my bet correct or wrong. And a new candle can even start. A new candle will start in very shortly. Okay, but I placed mine for that time expiration. You see, and obviously going to lose this 2,000. Okay, but good job it's demo. Good job it's demo. So I actually lost that bet. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to come back over to the Hangout, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen, because I want to talk to you about the strategies. You've got strategy A, strategy B, and I'm just going to keep this Bollinger Bands, because the strategies that we're going to talk about sometimes involve this Bollinger Band. So first off, I want to talk to you about strategy A. Okay, so this is A. Now, when I showed you on the board there, on the screen there, you had 2 timers. So you had the timer, you had this. I'm going to put this thinner line, and you had this thick line. You had a clock that counted down, okay, on this side, and you had a clock that counted down on this side. So I've just put them both at 0. Now, strategy A looks at this clock. It's not interested in that one, okay? It looks at this clock. So when there's, I think it's about 0.05 seconds, anywhere between 5 seconds and 1 second, anywhere between those two, once a candle comes outside the Bollinger Band, if that timer has got about 5 seconds left on it, in this case, the robot would have placed a downward bet, okay? If that timer, you know, the candle popped out the bottom here, that robot would have placed an up bet. So that's strategy, okay, A. So that's fairly simple. Strategy A does that. I'll show you the other settings of strategy A. So now let's look at strategy B. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of strategy A. So strategy A is working on this first timer. And bear in mind, when Darren does his live trading, okay, he always looks at this second clock. So strategy A covers the first clock. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this.
Jeremy.
Yeah.
You know, just pop. It's just want to make the point to everyone that what Jeremy's giving you here is the top level part of the strategy for you to understand. Within the whole programming, there's obviously a lot of subtlety within where it's opening and the position. So guys, just bear that in mind. He's just giving you the top level so you know what A, B and C are.
Exactly. Right. So then we come on to B. Okay. Now B does exactly what Darren does by when it looks at the timer. So I'll say about 5 seconds, somewhere like that. There's about 5 seconds left on this timer over here. So this would be strategy B. So if the candle was outside of the Bollinger Band, like it is here, then if there's this timer's almost finished, then this would place a downward bet. If this timer's almost finished and the candle's out the bottom of the Bollinger Band, then that will place an up bet. Now, strategy C, where it gets a little bit more complicated, okay? So I'm going to get rid of. So that's fairly simple again. And as I say, I'm only showing you parts of it. And as we go through this, we'll hopefully a few more pennies will start dropping with you. So I'm just going to get rid of this now. Now, strategy C is another strategy that I use, and that is it looks at the two timers again. Okay, so if I'm going to put here 0.05, and then you see when it gets there's 5 seconds. After that 5 seconds, so if the bot would have placed a bet like that, a downward bet, okay, and then you're in what this called, I don't know what you want to call this. I don't know what you want to call this, but you can't place any more bets on that same timeline because it now, once it hits there, that will be at 0. Okay, you can't place any more bets. Now, it physically on the in the site there, when you go to do it, if you want to place another bet in between this dotted line and this one, that last 30 seconds, you'd have to click a button and start a new time zone. Okay. Now, what I sometimes do, okay, so let's just see. I've got 5 seconds left on my clock, so I'm going to put 5 seconds there. And then I've said, like I would here, I'd say I'd place a down to say that the price is going to go down. Then I'd hit this line, but the price rose up again. Okay, the price, or this same, let's get rid of that. This same candle, let me just not make this too dirty. This same candle that I placed my bet on, you see, this is why Darren waits, because he's waiting for the candle to finish. I'm not waiting for the candle to finish because I placed my bet 5 seconds on here. So I've placed my bet in here. Let's just say I put $1 and I said the price is going to go down. But in this time period here, that 30 seconds, the price continued to go up. Okay, so you've got this part of the candle and the prices continue to go up. I would know myself that I've definitely lost that bet. There's no way I'm going to get that bet. It's very unlikely I'm going to get that bet because the price kept rising. So what I sometimes do in my strategy is I then place a second bet of $2 on this candle just before it finishes. Okay, I click the button, place it on that. Then the next candle will start. It doesn't matter whether the next candle starts up here or whether the next candle starts just here, I don't place any bets on that next candle. I let these two run out its course. Okay, that's what strategy C will do. Okay, so it doesn't always, obviously, it can place two bets on one candle if it sees that it's going to lose, if it believes that it's going to lose its bet. Okay, so just to recap, strategy A looks at this clock only, the clock on the left hand side where there's 5 seconds left. If you go into your pocket options site, you'll see the two clocks. Strategy B is what Darren teaches, okay, because that's Darren's strategy. This strategy is the second strategy that I sometimes do, okay? So when I start my betting manually, I either decide I'm going to carry on with just strategy A, or I might say I might be doing strategy A, I might be doing strategy C, okay? So it depends. I can flick between the two. So that's what the strategy is. And we're going to give those names so that you can identify them, to remember them, and there may be some sort of calculation in there to give you an idea or some hints of words, but we will name them. So there's the 3 strategies. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to go to the next thing, and that is that when your bot, let me just get rid of these 2 up here, and I'm going to make that nice and tidy again. There's my red line. Okay, and I'm just going to put my green candle, oh, excuse me, I'm going to put my green candle sitting out of the top. Okay, obviously there could be lots of more candles inside here. Now, what the bot also does, okay, is you have this middle Bollinger Band. Now, when myself and Darren, or when Darren's teaching you, he sort of says to you, ignore that. Okay, don't really take any notice of that, because what you're interested in is what happens at the top here, what comes out of the Bollinger Band, and what drops out the bottom of the Bollinger Band. But you see, our system doesn't ignore this middle Bollinger Band. So let's just see that if you've got a pattern, and I'm sure you've seen it, maybe let me share my screen and I'll show you another pattern that the system recognizes. So hopefully you can see the screen. So look, if I'm looking at the screen here, let me just get an area where it's more prominent. Maybe here. Whoops. Well, what's happened? Well, that'll do. That'll do here. I don't know whether that'll do. Let me try and find a really dodgy chart. Yeah, this will do. So if you look here, there's there's a candle we're on now. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 candles there. 17 candles that are all below the middle Bollinger Band. Okay, now it doesn't matter whether they're below or whether they're above the middle Bollinger Band. So if I come back to my screen and stop the sharing, so do apologize that we're jumping in and out. So what the robot also does is it's looking for what the candles are doing. Okay, so I know I've done all green there, but maybe they might be some red ones in here like this. Okay, I know they're not brilliant, but if the robot sees that all the candles are not really touching or not going past this middle line, it pauses the trade. It pauses the trade because what it thinks is that maybe it's going to be on a bull run in this case. And if it see all the candles sitting below here, okay, I know that's the wrong color and they're circles, but if it sees all the candles sitting on underneath there and it looks at the last 30 candles, if it sees that there's 30 candles in a row, either sitting below this middle Bollinger Band, it pauses trading. It won't do anything. If it sees the candles sitting above this, in between here and in between there, if it sees it sitting in there, so it hasn't broke out, but it sees it sitting in there, maybe one might break out. And it might miss that order because it feels that there might be a bull run coming or a bear run coming. So that's something else that the robot does for you, okay? Now, one thing I want to go back to my screen and I want to share. So I know we're going fast with this, but I wanted to go to give you an idea. So if we come back over to here, now the next thing you've got is this algorithm, okay? And as you see there, it says algorithm 10 to algorithm 100, okay? We've just given them names 10 to 100. So I want to come back to my screen because this is so important that somebody sent me a personal message and they put it in the chat. So I do ask you not to send me personal messages. It's okay to put them in the founder chat. We can answer them there. Now, algorithm 10 and algorithm to 100. What that means is, let me draw you some green candles. You might have a green candle that sits right on that line. You might have a green candle that goes just a little bit above it. You might have another candle goes a little bit more. You might have another candle goes a bit more. You might have another candle goes a bit more. So you can see that there's this step up. Now, what the bot does is with its algorithm, it looks at the 30 candles. It looks whether there's bull runs and bear runs, but it also looks relation to the timer. Everything's relation to the timer that Darren showed you. And what I've just showed you myself, my strategy and Darren's strategy, as I said, nobody's wrong or nobody's right. It's just we like doing things slightly different. But what you see the algorithm does is one of the algorithms, and I don't know which one they are, to be honest, because we've just given them numbers. And there's not something that you really need to know what the algorithm does. A bit like when you get on an aeroplane. You know it's got a couple of wings and some engines and some seats and a couple of pilots, and you know it gets you to the destination, but you don't necessarily need to know how the ailerons work and the flappers work and all that sort of stuff, and how the wheels go up and down, and and how the sandwiches are kept hot in the kitchen there. All you want to know is it gets you to the destination. But what the robot does is sometimes, let's just say that we're looking at the timer. Okay, either Darren's timer or my timer, it doesn't matter. Let's say either one of them. So if we're looking at the first one, it had 5 seconds. If we're looking at Darren's one, it would have 5 seconds on it. It would decide, based on the algorithm, do I want to place a downward bet there? Do I want to place a downward bet there? Do I want to place a downward bet there, or there, or there? So obviously, these candles are all rising, that the candles should be going up and down. But basically what it is it's the distance between here, okay, this middle Bollinger Band, and the top of the candle that the algorithm is worked out on. Okay, so that's a different algorithm. That's a different algorithm. Okay, and again, what the bot's doing is it not only just looks at the candle, looks at previous candles. Has there been bear runs? Has there been bull runs? Has there been candles that sit above here? So, one guy sent me a screenshot saying, well, the candles, the bot placed an order and it goes everything against what Darren said. And that's because Darren's strategy is one of the strategies. There's other strategies in place, you see. So just because Darren manually tells you as a human when it pops out and when the second timer, because Darren goes over here, and I don't know what these timers might be, I'll put a question mark, but when he gets with his second timer and he says, oh, I've got 5 seconds left on the clock, he says, right, guys, we're going to place a downward bet there. Doesn't mean the robot's going to do the same, because the robot could be working on a completely different algorithm, because what we've done, when we set this bot up, the programmers run not hundreds, but thousands of different algorithms and come up with those ones 10 to 100. Okay, I don't even know what triggers the algorithm, but I just wanted to explain to you, there's no good you trying to analyze what the bot's doing and looking in your back office there and saying, oh, why did it place a bet there? It shouldn't have placed a bet. Darren said it shouldn't place a bet there, because that's what one person sent me, and they put a screenshot in there. Don't try and work out what the bot's doing. Okay, the bot's got lots and lots and lots of code, lots of algorithms that it works against.
Also, just to point out to everybody, is my most successful bot so far today is trading a cryptocurrency that I wouldn't touch with a barge pole manually, and yet it's making me thousands of dollars in profit so far. So the bot is doing a better job than me on that particular cryptocurrency, because like I say, I wouldn't touch it, because the way that I manually trade wouldn't work with that system. And like I said right at the beginning, is that Jeremy's giving you the top level. There is an awful lot that these programmers have put into this above and beyond the stuff that we do and the stuff that we've talked to them about. So yeah, it's absolutely pointless trying to analyze it. It's really, you're just wasting your time, unless you're bored. you can't sleep.
Exactly. So I just want to now bring people to, and again, if you've got any questions, we'll try and answer those. If you put them in the chat in capital letters, Darren will have a look through there and see if we can, we can answer any of those questions. So now what I want to do is share my screen again. Okay, and I'll just minimize this. I'll just quickly come over to the Hangout, see how we're doing over there. Yeah, so we've got some questions. We'll wait for those for the moment. So what I want to do is I want to come to the robot now again, and I'm on the screen where you've got this, if you like, it's a calculator. Okay, now I want to zoom in on this one here at the top. Okay, I want to zoom in this, and I've not put a budget in or anything, but I'm just going to write this on the board. Can you see it there? I'm just going to put a B for budget, and you could see there it says 952.90. Okay, and then it said, I'm just going to write this in green. So it said here 2,141.98. Then the next one is a budget of 0. Okay, a budget of 0. And basically it said, obviously, no budget. It obviously made 0 profit. Okay, and I'm going to come and tell you what this means in a minute. Okay, got the next one is a budget. Okay, so I'm writing this on the board, and then I'll stop sharing my screen. And then we've got in green there. So first off, it's got a budget of $73. Okay, and then it's saying that there's a profit of $130. So wrong color pen. Let's get the green one. So there's $130, $30.40. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I want to talk to you about this. Now, there's this. The B stands for budget, not strategy. This was the budget. So it said the budget of $952.90 to make 2,141. Now, this is what some people are doing. Now, obviously, we're collecting data and we're looking at what the people who have got access to the bot right now in demo mode. This is what some people are doing. They're starting a bot off, and when they see it losing money, they go and change their settings of their bot. So let me just make sure that you're clear. If you set a budget, and this was the budget, so basically what the bot's done is it's gone over and it said on this day, to make the highest amount of profit for the day, you would have needed a budget of 952. On this day, we couldn't even find a way you could have made money with this particular pair. So obviously you'd have no budget because it couldn't make any money, and obviously it made you no profit. This one, it said, well, if you had a budget of $73, you would have made 130.40. Obviously, so let me come to this, because if you've got a budget of 952, so the bot's telling you, I need 952 to make this money. So if the bot needed that, what would the bot have to do? It would have to place bets to the value of 952. Otherwise, it couldn't have got this profit. So the bot could go into minus 500. The bot's not cared. The bot doesn't care, because it says, I've gone through all the trades, and I know I'm going to need to spend this much money to get that. So your bot could go in this case, could go into 952 minus, and you'd look at the screen thinking, my Lord, what's going to happen? And go in and change the settings. But you haven't let the bot finish. You've not got to be concentrating on what your bot's losing. What you've got to be looking at is what your bot can gain you. Okay? Now, you would set, if you're going to set up this, and if I come back to the screen in a moment, if you've set it with a budget, which I know some people have, they've gone in and said, well, I want a budget of, and I'll do it in black, I want a budget of $1,000. Now, if that bot starts to lose minus, and I'll put it in red, if that bot starts to lose minus 274.80, is there a problem? Is the bot not doing its job? Of course the bot's doing its job, and there's no problem, because you've told the bot, I'm prepared to lose $1,000 for you to get me some profit. So if you stop the bot as soon as you see it, or you pause the bot, or you go in and change the settings when you see it going into a minus, what you're going to end up doing is messing up the strategy, because you chose a strategy. It's a bit like a horse race. You put a jockey on him, okay? You put this little tiny fella that's about 5'7", okay? And you put him on this big stallion. You give him a beautiful lightweight leather salad, what do you call them? Saddle. I said salad. Saddle, okay? And then when he goes over the first hurdle, 10 horses are in front of him saying, whoa, 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 stop, come here. Let me put some lead in the side of your bag there. And that little fella get off and put that big fat Jeremy on it. Let's see how the horse does now. You can't win races by changing the jockey, changing the weight of the saddle. You know, you would never dream of it, would you? So when a bot is set up, you've got to let the bot run its course, okay? Let the bot run its course. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause. We've got about half an hour left. I think Darren's going to maybe cover a little bit about the founders. And then obviously, of course, Darren, if you want to add anything to what we've done, I then want to just talk about a few other things about setting up the bot. So over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you. 5'7" is not a little chap, you know. Okay, right. Thanks for that, Jeremy. Right. What am I going to? Well, the first thing I just want to add to what Jeremy's just said is that when you're looking at that screen and you're looking at the 3 days of trading, that gives you an idea that you can still have a really profitable trade over 3 days, even though you may lose even on 2 of those days. I've had a bot that I tested that had actually lost on 2 days and made a big profit on a 3rd day, and that bot is now running at a profit for me. I just ignore it. If it hits the stop loss, it hits the stop loss. I did when I first started. I got very excited. I went in every sort of 20 minutes or so, tweaked the settings, tweak this, tweak that, because I thought that's what testing a demo would be. But clearly it's not. It's about allowing the bot to do what it does. And really, you've got to have the mindset that you set your stop loss and you let it run for 3 days. Of course, you can go and look at it, because it's very tempting to go back and look at it. But I would just have the mindset you leave it for at least 72 hours to run its course, and just let it get on with its work. Okay, what am I going to cover? I'm going to very, very quickly go over the founder positions, because for those of you who have been with us for a while, you'll understand that we've had founder positions available for those of you who want to have a what should we say, a prominent position in the marketing and compensation plan that we have with Zukul. We actually very rarely talk about it, if we're honest. It used to be something that we used to talk about an awful lot, but actually we don't talk about it at all, really. We just mention it every now and again. But we do have a huge an affiliate and compensation plan attached to Zukul. And obviously, if you want to be a part of the compensation plan, then it's advantageous, clearly, to have a good spot in our company funnel. But also, more importantly, if you want heavy discounts, and I'm going to show you what those discounts are in a moment, for all of our current bots and also all of our future software developments, then again, it's probably advantageous that you spend the next 5 minutes with me focusing on what we're going to do with founders. So what I'm going to very quickly do is I'm going to shut up while I click the share button, and hopefully I'm sharing, which I am. Great, right. Now I'm not going to go through the whole of this. I'm just going to go through literally the headlines. Now, the big thing that you need to be very much aware of is, oops, there we go. Back one, there we go. No, hey, there we are. Right. Now we've have founder positions for like I say, for the past couple of months, since we sort of what do you call it? rebranded, if you like, Zukul. Obviously, we've moved over to cryptocurrency trading bots, and trading generally. We've had founder positions available, and a lot of those founder positions are now going simply because people are snapping them up. Now, we announced last week that the current founder positions, the ones that we have at the moment, are going to be only available with the current agreement up until Monday, the 8th of October. Okay, so on Monday, the 8th of October, I know it says Tuesday here, but you'll bear with me a moment. Monday, the 8th of October at 8 o'clock at night, that's London time, which significantly is 8 o'clock at the end of next Monday's Hangout. Okay, that is the cutoff. Now, if you then still want to be a founder, then you will have a new agreement. Okay, and I'm going to show you what those are, and they will be applicable to run until the end of October, which is obviously the 31st of October. All right, so you just need to bear that in mind. Now, what are those agreements? Okay, we've got them both here. The top one here is the one that is current, and that will be available for the next 7 days. So as you can see, in all cases, the platinum founder positions have all gone, the gold founder positions have all gone, and all the silver founder positions have all gone. And the bronze founder positions is a new one that we brought in, I think last week it was, or the week before, and that was through popular demand, because people wanted to be a founder, but obviously we were running out of founder positions. So we've created a bronze founder position for you guys. We also have leader referrals. Now, there is no limit to the number of leaders that we can bring in, like a leader founder. So there is no limit on that, but there is a limit on the number of bronze founder positions that we can bring in. I'm unsure of what that limit is, and obviously it's changing all the time, simply because obviously people are jumping on board literally as we speak. So what does it look? What does this little chart tell you? Well, basically, if you want to become a bronze founder, it's going to cost you 0.2 Bitcoin. Okay. If you want to become a leader, or you think you're a leader, there is a benchmark of the ability to bring in 100 directs. That's 100 active people. That's not just 100 people who join Zukul. That's people who become a direct active referral with at least at the beginner level. All right, they don't all at the starter level. They don't all have to be beginners or intermediates or advanced. They need to be active members within Zukul. And if you are a leader, you need to send a ticket in, and you need to come to an arrangement with Jeremy. If you want to become a bronze founder, then you need to apply by putting in a ticket through Zukul, and again, you'll get the details and the information on that. If you are not a founder, then when we go live with the binary bot, and like I say, at the moment we're just going through testing, but when we go live, then there will be an annual fee for use of the binary bot for those of you who want to be able to use it. And that will be, as a beginner, it'll be 0.15 BTC. If you're an intermediate member, it'll be 0.12 BTC. And if you're an advanced member, it'll be 0.076 BTC. And then on top of that, there'll be any profit that you make on a weekly basis. You can see here the percentages that would then be payable through to Zukul, so you can then have access to it the following week. People got a little bit worked up on how that payment will be made. Please do not trouble yourself over that. There will be a very simple mechanism in the back office for those of you who have access to the trading bot. If you are a founder member, obviously you can see here that you're going to have lifetime access to that binary bot, and obviously you've got lower commissions, if you like, to pay to Zukul. If you join after the 8th, Monday the 8th, that's then obviously basically the chart changes considerably, and I think this is what has driven a lot of people wanting to become founders. As you can see, leader arrangements leaders by arrangement again via Jeremy. Bronze founders, if you want to become a bronze founder in 2 weeks' time, as opposed to this week, then it's going to cost you 0.4 BTC, okay, effectively doubling. It also means that you're going to pay more commission on a weekly basis. If you want to have access to to all of our software, which we then bring in after the binary bot, then you're going to be, if you're a beginner, you're going to pay 5 BTC. And the types of software that we're talking about that's coming online, it's already in production. We have obviously the binary bot, we have the smart wallet, and we also have a forex bot in the early stages of development as well. And obviously we've got plans for other bots and trading software that's going to be coming down the line over the next 12 to 18 months. So if you want access to those, it's going to cost you 5 BTC. That isn't a typo. You know, these bots will make you an awful lot of money. Intermediate member is going to cost you 3 BTC. An advanced member is going to cost you 2 BTC. And again, as you can see, there'll be weekly commissions based on the profitability of your bots on a weekly basis. Now, clearly, some of these figures here will be finalized once we've got the software through its performance testing. But again, it's just to give you guys some figures to work with, to deciding on whether you want to become a founder or get access to the bot prior to the 8 o'clock on the 8th of October. And again, just a final reminder, all founder positions, irrespective if we have not filled all of the bronze positions, then either way they will all close come the Wednesday the 31st of October at 8 PM, and that will be at the end of my regular Wednesday hangout. Okay, so that's basically when everything closes off and we then get to running Zukul we then start to run Zukul normally with no founder positions. I will stick my neck out and say that if you are a leader and can bring in 100 people directs, then I think that will be an ongoing situation where you can have a conversation with Jeremy and come to some arrangements. I'm sure that that'll be an ongoing thing anyway. Right, I will stop sharing, and what we will do is just see if we have any questions that we might want to go through. Are you okay with that, Jeremy, if we go through some questions?
Yep, no problem.
Okay, right, let's just quickly scroll to the top. So if you do have questions, this is your moment to put them in capitals, because obviously those are the ones that we can spot and we can go through. So the first one I've come to is Chris Morris. Chris is saying, do we know why pocket options remove some of the trading pairs on what seems like a 12-hourly cycle? I didn't realize it was a 12-hourly cycle, Chris. Jeremy, do you want to
put your
support on that
into them? I would say put your support ticket, because obviously we can't answer a question regarding pocket options. So if you want to ask them that question, I don't think it's a 12-hourly cycle, but if you think it is, ask them, because I have no idea myself.
Yeah. Right. Jürgen. Oh, it looks like he's already got that one. Yeah. Yeah. If you are a founder, then you basically need to be in our founders group. If you want to know how to do that, then please get in touch with Barbara through contact through Zukul, and she will obviously make the arrangements. But if you're a founder and you're not already in our group, then make sure that you update Barbara, and she'll make sure that you're in our group. Chris Morris again, if you don't want to stop the bot, how long should we be setting the bot to run? Good question, Chris.
Am I answering that? So, Chris, you know what
I was thinking how long is a piece of string?
Exactly, because what you should do, Chris, you've got a demo mode, okay? And when we do switch the bot on live for the people that have got access to it, and at the moment that's just the founders and the leaders, you will still have demo mode and you'll have live. So I would suggest that you choose a pair that you like the look of, Okay. And what you do is you set up more than one bot for the same pair. So you say, I'm going to start one bot up to run for 24 hours, another bot to run for maybe 72 hours. I've got bots that run for 720 hours, which is about a month. So there's no rule. There's no wrong or right way. That's why you've got a demo mode, so you can split test basically.
Yeah, yeah. I had my bot setting up for 24 hours when I first started, and like I say, realised that was probably not the best strategy. I then set them up for 72 hours, which obviously is 3 days. And now what I've done today is I've set mine up for 96 hours, which is takes me up to the end of Friday. I think Jeremy wants to talk about weekend trading in a moment, but basically that's how I've set mine up. So I now look for the longer play. I know, for example, that the programmer has had bots running almost since he's got started, obviously in demo mode, and I think Jeremy will explain to you how that performance has sort of led us down to longer time is probably better. But again, you need to be mindful of your stop losses, and obviously, just be aware of that. But yeah, I think longer is better from what I've seen so far. Paul Bishop is asking, can there be a monthly fee option for binary bot if you're not a founder?
No, not at the moment. You would have to have an active account inside Zukul, but we're not releasing it to anybody else until we're not ready. We're giving it to founders and leaders. We want to make sure that we've got everything right. Leaders and founders get access to it. We don't know when we're going to issue it to the public, but when we do issue it to the general public, it will be limited again. Okay, so you'll need to have an active either a beginner, intermediate or advanced package. You'll have to keep that open. Plus you will need to pay a fee to access the bot. Okay, so it makes sense, as Darren just showed you, those fees, which is going to cover all of our bots, but there'll be a fee that you'll have to pay to get access to the bot, and then you'll be doing profit sharing every week. So if you make $100, if you're coming in at a later date, you're going to be paying 50% of that back to the company. Okay, because we believe these bots are just too valuable for the company not to make any money out of them. So there won't be there will be it'll be a weekly fee based on your profit. Yeah, that's or a monthly fee based on your profit, but you'll have to pay it each week.
Yeah. But Joshua McGregor, got instructions for silver, can follow same instructions for bronze. I don't know whether
the same instructions, but go back to support. If you want the bronze, they'll tell you how much it costs. Darren just showed you what the cost of bronze is. It's 0.20 is it 02? I think it's something like, it's on the screen there, but send in a support ticket. They'll tell you, they'll tell you how much it is.
Yeah, it's 0.2 BTC.
There you go.
0.2. And just on that, Jeremy, I'm putting you on the spot here. Okay. I am, let's assume that I am not able to become a founder, but I am, let's say, an intermediate member of Zukul, and I want access to the bot. And I've just seen this presentation that I could pay 0.12 BTC, but that is before the 8th of October. Can I make that payment to have access for the next 12 months to the bot, even though I know that I won't get access until it's officially released?
Good question. And I wanna what do they say? Abstain from answering that, because at the moment we haven't got a date or a time of when we're going to release it. Let's just say that we release the bot into the beginner package upward. It won't be for every beginner because we're going to limit the amount of people. Okay, so you won't be able to pay for it in advance. we will let the people know, you know, there'll be a certain amount of positions that will be available, and that will come on a first come, first served basis. So let's just say that when we do launch it for the public and we say, right, we're going to allow 100 people to have it, it'll be the first 100 people that come in and pay will have access. We will then be negotiating with pocket options to see if we can bring in more. Who knows? We might be able to bring in more than 100. We might only be able to bring in 200. I don't know. Could be thousands. But pocket options, we'll be constantly talking with them to make sure that they're happy with the amount of people. That's why we're saying it's not that we want to, you know, limit it, but our hands are tied. We're obviously in talking with a third-party company, and that we have no control over them. They have control over us because they're going to tell us how many we can have use this robot. Yeah,
no, that's fine. I do apologise. I made this same mistake last week. So I'll just call you Mr. Basil. Mr. Basil is asking, is it possible to pay for the bronze founder's position? He says in 2 or 3 rates. I'm assuming in 2 or 3 parts as opposed to a single payment.
Somebody that's paid in 2 or 3 parts. There'll be, you know, if you've got to pay 0.2 of a Bitcoin, that's what we need to receive, 0.2 of a Bitcoin. So if you pay 0.1 today and you say, well, I'm going to be able to pay the next 0.1 within a couple of days, as long as it's not gone past the 8th of October. If you then go in past the 8th of October, well, then you're going to double your price. So even if you've made the first payment before the 8th of October, you've got that deal until the 8th of October. Once you go past the 8th of October, you will end up paying more. So yeah, you can pay in stages. And then if you've gone past the 8th of October, then you've got until the 31st. And if you don't pay between now and the 31st, then you lose your money. You know, we're not going to give you a credit system where you can say, I'll pay on the 25th of December, the rest of it. That's not how it's going to work. So you can pay in stages, but you've got to pay when the time's to be paid. But we won't be giving you a refund if you pay one payment and don't pay the next 2. You would have lost your money, okay? So yes, you can do that. So I want to, before we go, because we've got about 10 minutes, 7 minutes to go, and I want to do this thing on the board. This is a new tool that we're going to be putting in the back office, okay? Forget what I've got written over here. These are just reminders for me. One thing we did say when we was on there, weekend trading. Myself and Darren don't trade on weekends, okay? I've got a life and I want to spend my time with my family. Now, you could say, yeah, but Jeremy, it's a robot. It can trade 24 hours a day. A robot, I would say you wouldn't want it to run at weekends, you know? I would say pause it on a Friday and start it up again on the Monday. I wouldn't trade because, as Darren said in the founders group, at weekends you've got the retailers, that's controlling the price of coins, and you've got the fool's money. So when I mean by the fools, I don't mean to be rude to anybody, but you've got the people who have got their day job, okay? And then at the weekends they decide to trade. So the prices are going up all over the place. Stock market closes on a Friday and opens up on a Monday. The Wall Street Stock Exchange closes on American time, obviously Friday, and opens again on Monday. Every exchange around the world closes over the weekend. So I wouldn't want to trade over the weekend. And I've tested a bot over the weekend, and I'll tell you, it's a waste of time. It just loses money hand over fist. So bear that in mind. Don't trade at weekends. But of course you can if you want to. That's entirely up to you. Right. Now, what I want to talk to you about quickly is a new tool that we're going to be putting in the back office when you set up your bots. Okay. Now, some of you might relate to this. You might have a bot running and you see if it's, if I get up here, which I've had this, I've had a bot that had $1,700 in profit. Okay. Gone to bed, woke up in the morning, and it's minus 1,000. So not only did it lose my 1,000 that it made me, but it also lost my stop loss. So you might have set a bot up with a stop loss, okay, as saying, well, I'll have a bot that runs with $50. And this bot goes and makes, I don't know, $336. And you look at it, The next day when you go in, it's minus 50. So it's not only lost you this, but it's lost you that as well. So this is great that we've done this demo mode, because today I had a long call with the programmers this morning, and this is what I come up with, and it took me about 2 to 3 hours to explain it to the programmer. So I do apologize if it goes above your head, but I'll try and keep it simple. So what we're going to do now, and I don't know the names of them, at the moment you've got what's called a stop loss, your budget. Set your budget. That's actually a stop loss. So when you set a budget, so let's just say you set a budget of $50, that means you are prepared to lose $50. So the bot could run -1, +2, -4, +8, minus, and when it gets to 50, -50, the bot will stop and it will move into the goals reached. It will move in there because there's 2 goals. You could set a profit for what you could, but also your stop loss. So that's another goal. Now, if your bot didn't lose, okay, and it starts to win, it starts to lose, it starts to win, and you get to that situation what I just showed you where the bot's made loads of money and then you wake up in the morning, it's all gone. Okay, so this is what we're doing. And I don't know what I'm going to call them, but I'm going to call it the bet stop loss, the budget stop loss, and the trade. So let me explain it. So let's just say you set, this is your budget, what's called the budget in your back office. You say, I'm prepared to lose $50. Well, let's just say that your bot went on to make a profit of $100. What the bot will do is it will take 20% of that money and it will bank it. Okay, so that's $20. So you now know if your bot, when you get up in the morning, if the bot gets to $20, it will stop the bot and you've made $20. Okay, but what the bot will also do is it will say, with the $80 that I've got, I'm going to up the trade. I'm going to compound. I'm going to up the trade because this is money that I don't own, really. This is money I've got for nothing because it's already banked this, so it's not going to lose that 20. So now it says, right, I'm going to trade with the $80, but instead of me placing $1 on the first bet, I'll up it. You'll have all the settings to set all this up, okay? And we'll make videos to show you how to do it. Now, let's just say, I'll get rid of that 80. Let's just say that your bot now, okay, your bot now gets to 200 in profit. What does it do? It does a bank of 20% of that, which is $40, okay? And that leaves you $160 that it's going to trade with, okay? When I say trade, it's going to make bets. But also the bot, if you've set it up, well, where it was placed maybe $1, then on the when it got to 100, it took it up to $2. When it gets up to 200, it says, right, we're going to go past the 200. We're now going to place $4. Okay, you'll have that. It's like a scaling move up. But you see, you've banked, so you won't get up in the morning and find you've got zero. You know you've definitely got a $40 profit. So now you run your bot a little bit further, and the bot now gets to a profit of $400. Okay, it banks 20%, so that's $80. It banks that for you, and now it's going to trade with 320. So if it loses that 320, the bot will just stop and say, well, I've made you $80. You've definitely walked away with some profit. So that's a tool that we're going to be bringing in, and you will have an option to use that. Okay, you will have an option to use that, and I'll just show you quickly what if I can. I'll share my screen quickly, and if you've got any questions, you need to be really quick now because we're almost out of time. And I've got my screen, so I'm coming over here. So when you set up your bot, you will select this. You get this pop up. You will have all the extra settings on here. And then what me and Darren are going to be doing in the very near future is we're going to start making some videos to help you set up your bots. We're not going to be giving you advice on the best strategy to use, but what we will be doing is giving you how to set the bot up, okay? Not necessarily the best strategy. We might pick a strategy that doesn't work. You know, we don't want you to follow our example, but we'll show you this is what this box means, this is what this box means, this is what this does, this is what this does. So you can set your own bot with your strategy. And I would recommend, even when we go live, you run a demo. You run a demo with a strategy. If that strategy works for you, you could then create that into a live bot. But what you must remember a bot that done a particular set of strategies and algorithms that works today might not work tomorrow. If you look at those, we've got 3 days there. I would say you want to run your bot for at least 3 days, personally. I would run it for at least 3 days, because that's what we're gathering the stats back. And what the bot does is it tells you the best performance for that day. Takes all the strategies, all the algorithms. It says, I've tested them all for you. If you would have set them up on that day, which was the past, obviously you can't set a bot up, that was what your bot would have done, and that was how much you would have needed, and that's how much profit you would have made. The bot the next day might have the same strategy in place, the same formula, the same algorithms, and it loses money, because that's the power of volatility. Okay, we cannot, and we will not guarantee that anybody is going to make any money. Okay, all you could do is set your bot up, go on bot. Basically, we'll give you the information, but the bot will take away the human emotions. It will try and make the trades loose. Know when to place the bets, how much to place in the bets based on what you tell it. Let it run its course. So I think we're almost out of time. It's 2 minutes past 8. I don't want to go much longer, but if we got any questions, Darren. And you've got yourself muted by the sound of it, if you're talking.
You think I'd be used to this by now, wouldn't you? Sorry. The only question that we had that we didn't get to was Terry Price was asking if we could demonstrate the actual setting up of a bot. He would find that useful.
Not tonight.
Yeah, perhaps I'll do that Wednesday.
Yep, do it. And as I say, we will start making videos very soon. But obviously we haven't 100% finished the bot. There's a few more strategies going in place. There's another algorithm that's going to go in place. There's that stop loss tool that I've talked to you about. There's a compounding tool that we're putting in there. So there's a lot more happening to the bot. Okay. You know, once we've finalized it and we say we put the wax stamp of approval on it to say that's it, we're not doing any more to it, apart from tweaking, then we shall start to make lots of videos to show you how everything works.
Yeah. Okay. Right. We are well and truly out of time. Brian, we'll get back to you with the answer to your question. I think we covered it in the actual Hangout, but I'll get a clarification and we'll get that answer to you. No problems. All right. Thank you very much, Jeremy. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
I'll see you guys on Wednesday.
Your Hangout, Darren. Wednesday. Darren's Hangout is on Wednesday. Keep an eye on your inboxes and all the social media platforms, and we'll be broadcasting on Wednesday. Well, Darren will be, and then probably on the following Monday. So have a fantastic rest of the week. Tutty bye.